Shooter Breeze topic number 2 says, is the real power for Black people in building brands and products that give back to the community? This came with a link that takes us to Instagram, and we're going to hear from Master P. I'll play the video at least once, maybe twice, and then we'll discuss it.
We have to deprogram our mindset and stop hating on. But I'm out of the music industry because ain't no money in the music industry. And I know people might get mad and trip, but I'm just saying, y'all know it's a lot of things that we used to do. It ain't no money, and it done tapped out. They trying to figure out how to make money off of streams. When Snoop put a post up, say, man, I sold 1 billion streams. I only made this little money. Where the millions at? We knew where our money from because we had tangible goods. And that's why I got into the product game. We could actually have tangible goods. I told people all the time, product outweighs talent. Product gonna be around when we not here. Michael Jordan is still successful because of the shoes, not because him shooting balls into the hoop. That been over. Father Time did that. But guess what? Look at the business he was able to create. African-American owned. So people laugh at me, say, well, Pete, why you came up with cereal? We're the #1 consumer of cereal. Go look and see how much those big companies make off of us. And then people tell me, oh, well, you got sugar in the cereal. They've been having sugar in their cereal for 100 years. So you wouldn't want me to build a brand and a company and put money back into our community, educate our people, give our people opportunities and jobs, but y'all gonna let them do it? That's like somebody saying, don't make Snickers. If we make a Snicker, oh man, the black man got a Snicker with sugar. That was the Snicker been had. What you want me to make? A sugar-free Snicker? We have to deprogram our mindset and stop hating on. But I'm out of the music industry because ain't no money in the music industry. And I know people might get mad and trip, but I'm just saying, y'all know it's a lot of things that we used to do. It ain't no money, and it done tapped out. They trying to figure out how to make money off of streams. When Snoop put a post up, say, man, I sold 1 billion streams. I only made this little money. Where the millions at? We knew where our money from because we had tangible goods. And that's why I got into the product game. We could actually have tangible goods. I told people all the time, product outweighs talent. Product gonna be around when we not here. Michael Jordan is still successful because of the shoes, not because him shooting balls into the hoop. That been over. Father Time did that. But guess what? Look at the business he was able to create. African-American owned. So people laugh at me, say, well, Pete, why you came up with cereal? We're the #1 consumer of cereal. Go look and see how much those big companies make off of us. And then people tell me, oh, well, you got sugar in the cereal. They've been having sugar in their cereal for 100 years. So you wouldn't want me to build a brand and a company and put money back into our community, educate our people, give our people opportunities and jobs, but y'all gonna let them do it? That's like somebody saying, don't make Snickers. If we make a Snicker, oh man, the black man got a Snicker with sugar. That was the Snicker been had. What you want me to make? A sugar-free Snicker?
Yeah, so I get Master P. I'm going to let the panelists really talk about this. I get what Master P is saying, but that these people have been making a sugar-filled Snicker or cereal for 100 years, but that doesn't mean you can't do something for your people and it's a bit healthier. I think we always have to do it their way. Now we could do it our way. You know what I mean? We could get back into our own tastes and whatnot. In the chat, Cheryl says, first of all, it's good that we are starting to think collectively. Beautiful. But we don't have communities. We have neighborhoods. Nothing you can do to stop white people from gentrifying. Now, that's a fact right there. In America, unfortunately, because there's no cohesiveness, there's very little a so-called black neighborhood can do to remain black. When I was home in my hometown, I used to read these little books on like the Harlem Renaissance and stuff. When I came to New York, I was looking forward to checking out Harlem. And when I first came, Harlem was still black. But after I came when Clinton was president. And after Clinton left office, he opened up an office in Harlem. And that was the beginning of the end of Harlem being black. Now, if there's some cohesiveness, you might be able to thwart that. By the end of the day, the gentrification problem is an issue with money. And that's the thing that we can't really combat. In any event, Shooter Breeze Talk number 2 is the real power for black people in building brands and products that give back to the community. I'm going to start with Black Steel on this one. Black Steel, what are your thoughts?
So the answer to the question is no, it's not. That's not the real power for black people. Black capitalism will not save us. I'm sorry to tell y'all. It's not. Now, to that being said, I'm not against black people building brands and circulating. I think that's a good thing. But will it save us? Is this real power? No, it's not. I think that when we hear these rich black people talk, right? He's talking about making money for the community and whatnot. Master P he's a businessman. And what he said about the music industry not making money anymore, that's very true. And many artists, the only way they really make money is if they go on tour. If they have to go on tour, go on concert, and that's how they really make their money. But their album sales, they don't really move the needle. Many of our famous artists died broke. They didn't have any money. I know even rappers like Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. were broke when they passed away. They didn't have any money. But I do think that using the black dollar, circulate in the community, that's a good thing. But I also don't think that it's going to lead to power, because again, we're, like someone mentioned, we're still in America, and any type of black advancement, usually is met with a white-black backlash. We don't control the means of distribution. We don't control the means of production like that. So although it's good, I don't think it's a bad thing, but I don't think that amassing capital, amassing fiat is the solution to our lack of power. I think more of it could be built in organization. Yeah, but I think that, in my opinion, black capitalism is not going to save us.
I don't think that I don't think that one particular thing is going to save black folks. This is one of the only really, in terms of bones of contentions. Can I be heard? Can somebody hear me? I hope somebody can hear me. Anyway,
I can hear you.
Okay. So in terms of one of the bones of contentions, me and Black Steel has, we have an economic one. We really disagree very few times on very few subjects, but this is one of the things we kind of like part companies with, because I think that economic power is something that can be helpful to Black Americans, and not only the Black Americans but the Black world. There's something to be said when you're in a capitalist country and to suggest that economics can't help you and not save you completely, because there's other shortfalls that we have. That's why I'm not into the reparations argument, because the reparations argument is solely built on a check. That's not going to rescue the minds of Black folks only. It'll be helpful, but it won't solve the crisis that the Black world is currently under. So on that particular instance, we agree. We agree on that. However, I think that economic power is something to be dialogued and discussed about, because we've been denied the economics, not only of America, which is a capitalist country, but everywhere else in the world. Money is one of our biggest issues, and these are topics you must confront. I think that Master P is ahead of his time, though, just as Garvey was, unfortunately, because his mindset and the thinking. I appreciate men like Master P, because Black Steel referred to him as a wealthy man, but he wasn't always wealthy. There was something that he did in between that get him from point A to point B. And this is something I feel like the Black community does not like to discuss in dialogue. Business, money, working together, supporting our businesses. One of the things Black Sea says that he is within America, and I think that's a problem when it comes to his capitalistic argument, because he said we don't control the means of production. Well, you know what? If Master P take that African American focus and take it globally, and starts to grow wheat in places like Ethiopia or on the African continent, growing wheat there, because the wheat is making the breakfast cereals. So you growing wheat because you have your own land in a large swath of an African continent. Then you manufacturing that and selling that cornflakes to Americans and everywhere else in the world. This is how Wheaties do it. This is how Kellogg's do it. Kellogg's has the ability to use American farmers. Okay, so since we don't have that avenue, we could use African farmers or Caribbean farmers. Take large swaths of land, convert that wheat into cereal and sell it to the American public or even globally. I think that he needs to branch out and not restrict his abilities within the context of the United States. Then you will have the ability to compete with the Kellogg's. You become when you feed in America, you have the ability to control a larger swath and piece of America. That is power. Because you're not only feeding Black Americans, you're feeding other people who gonna buy into your cereal. Not only Black people like Master P, many other people like Master P. Many other kinds of people like Master P. All over the world, even in the American public, you are competing with other people who are doing the same things you do. So now you're talking about means of production. If I have African farmers producing my wheat on the continent of Africa or in America, and I am able to convert that into cereal, I am becoming a competitor, because as Master P said, cereal is sold in large, way larger than the rap industry or the record producing industry. It's much larger than that. So his vision is very, very big. It's a very, very big vision. But I think that sometimes his audience hasn't caught up with him as yet, just as Garvey. But I believe that economic power is something that we should consider. It's just a form of power. As we was talking about nuclear power, which is another form of power, intellectual power, which a lot of the Jews have had, and it's not been transitioned to us as yet, but we're working on that. But there's different forms of power. Will economic power save Black people alone? Absolutely not. But it could help. It could help. That's what I would say to that. It could help.
Appreciate that, Buana. Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, I was trying to keep it brief, but economic power is at the center of this, really. I'm going to share a belief I have, man. And it's built off of Amilcar Cabral quote. People are just out here. This is to paraphrase him. People are not out here to debate theories and ideologies, and people are here for prosperity. People want to see their children prosper, themselves, their future generations prosper. And how do you get that done? I'm going to tell you something. I think if we had conscious business men, see, Master P is not a conscious dude as far as I know, right? If we have conscious businessmen, we would have a chance to end this bullshit we're going through by the end of next year. The problem is we don't have that. The reality of it is, you want to get the average person on board and organized and stuff, give them a job. Give them a job, and that job has something to do in terms of nation building, grabbing control, grabbing power. Give them a job that aids in that direction. That's how we don't get out of that stuff. Allow them to be able to feed their children and see their children go to school and do well, this, that, and the other. There's other components as well, of course. but the African centeredness is strong in it. And the next part of it is the people got to prosper. Like several people in the chat said, to think that you're going to do this stuff. I forgot who said it well. Maybe it was Lero. She said economic power is of utmost importance. None of the endeavors that will give Black folks the power desired are coming free of cost. And that's just the reality. That's something I had to kind of come to within myself recently. You could ask folks to donate their time, to donate, to do this, to do that. Ultimately, like Emil Cockabrow said, man, people are in it for their prosperity. And that's a reality we have to really consider going forward. With that said, let me hear from the forecast. Forecast, what say you?
Yeah, I like what you just said, Koku, and it reminded me of what my good brother MG2 said. He was like, "Yo, I might listen to Elijah Muhammad today. I might even like what he say, you know. But if I'm hungry, I'm still gonna eat a pork sandwich tonight. You know what I'm saying? Unless I find a way not to eat it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, I'll say this. I can't say like vouch for Master P one way or another. You know, one thing I would say for him is like a while ago, it was the judge Olu Stevens who got in trouble because he didn't let a defendant have an all-white jury and all type of race, and he got suspended. And I would say Master P went up there and tried to like stand up for him, and he like tried to like do stuff for him, help him out or stuff like that. So I will say that about him. And I agree with this 100%, like, because even what you said, Koku, like when you say like with the sugar and the not sugar, like, you know, and that's good, but it's like, what is the people buying though? You know what I'm saying? Like you could have the non-sugar and go out of business, but you could also do both. But I mean, if Black people is buying, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a person myself. I like candy, you know what I'm saying? I probably will never stop eating candy, you know what I mean? Even though it's bad for you, you know, but it is what it is. But see, I agree with what he's saying because, like, yo, Black, that's the point, is to build your industry. Like, yo, like Amos Wilson, like, yo, be like, you should be making your own underwear, you know, all type of stuff. If something go wrong, like, what about the toilet paper that people couldn't buy? You know, it's a Black-owned toilet paper, and Bakari be doing the Black business, John. He should go back to like the Black Business Fridays, you know, he was doing, or whatever day he could do it, you know, because all of that stuff is important. And I used to always say, like, if we so into like voting, we can take the most successful Black business people and nominate them, whatever, for a board, you know what I'm saying? Where we all can like make sure they stay transparent and all of that stuff, you know. But there's a board strictly to fund and help grow, not just give them the money, but show them how to grow and all type of stuff, you know. If you want to think about it, like that TV show that they got with like Mark Cuban and stuff like that, but they actually helping these businesses and they putting them in our areas, and in return they're actually hiring our youth, our people, that we're hiring each other, you know what I'm saying, giving each other jobs, you know. But we're all, whether you got like $1 or $1 million, whatever, you know what I'm saying, you putting money into it, you know. It's just like the thing that I see is like a lot of times like people do talk negative about it. But it is like, where are you going to even spend your dollars today? Are you going an extra mile to support the Black business or to hire the other person? Because like we always stand up for other people, and people are taking, I ain't gonna go there, you know, but like that's, yo, to be able to create, because until you have to be able to dispose of your own feces, you know what I'm saying? Like to control your own, that's what freedom is, you know what I'm saying? Being able to control your own environment. You want people to protect your neighborhoods, you gotta have to pay them. You want your teachers in the school, you gonna have to pay them, because people can't just do that because they gotta eat, you know, or how are they gonna eat, you know? So everything people were saying, it sounds good, but when people is hungry, they're gonna do what they have to do. And that's why a lot of people will sell out for $1, because like, yo, it sounds good with this Black power stuff, but like, yo, I got a daughter at home that's crying and I ain't got no formula. My wife is tripping and I need this job, so I'm going to sleep right now. Or hell, I'm gonna sell out, you know, in the worst case, you know. But in most of our cases, I'm going to sleep because I got to go to work tomorrow, and I bet not say nothing because I could get fired. But if you're not creating opportunities and stuff like that, you're a slave anyway. I know we don't like to say that we are, but you are, you know. But anyway, I'll leave it at that.
No, well said, forecast. Yeah, we are slaves. That's a reality. We are slaves. We think our freedom of movement disqualifies that title, but we are beholden. You know, we in many ways we are beholden. Now, you also said some stuff that I want to address that I think is actually sensible too. There is that part of, if you're gonna be black people and gonna start building your own institutions and stuff like that, you might have to follow what this other man built too. I think about that with like storytelling. If you were to just go and start a company, a media company, and you start telling stories in an African way, for example, most of our people probably wouldn't fuck with it. They're too used to what this other man has been putting out for the last 100 and something years. And so we would have to follow that in the beginning and then wean ourselves off of it. Same thing with Master P talking about the Snickers or the cereal. You might have to make it the way that folks are making it, get your foot in the door, and then try to change it eventually once we start to establish black ownership. So that I'll grant you that for sure. When Buana talked about Master P, and again, I'm not trying to diss Master P. I'm sure he has a consciousness, but it might not be an African-centered one. And what I mean is this. When Buana was talking about Master P, the next step would be to go and buy the land in Africa or the Caribbean and grow the wheat, blah, blah, blah. That's a certain African-centeredness you have to make that decision. Other than that, what you're going to do, and what's probably what Master P is doing, to be quite frank, he's using the same companies that make Fruit Loops or whatever to make the product, and he's just selling it in a different package. They do that with tennis shoes. This guy, Stephon Marbury, was selling his own shoes, Starberries. He was getting them from China, having them made from the exact same company as Michael Jordan was getting their shoes made. And he just was selling them at a way more reasonable price. He was able to make money, not the multiple times money that Michael Jordan is making, but he was able to make some money as well. And he was using the same facilities, etc., just slapping his name on the thing. So I get your point. I think Forecast made a good point. I think all of you did make good points there too. And there's a lot of good points in the chat. But the person who I want to hear speak now is the person who actually sent this to me, and that's Anthony McPhail. Anthony, how are you this week? You got to unmute your mic, Anthony.
Hey, I'm doing fine, brother. How you doing, Coco?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, man. Peace to all the brothers and sisters on the panel, man. Peace to Lero, my boy Forecast, Buana, Black Steel, everybody, man. Peace to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, respect you, Shreveport. Respect, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, I think everybody made some great points, man. I like what Koku said, man. I like what Forecast said, and and Buana, as much as I disagree with something he said something good. You know what I'm saying? When he was talking about the expanding outside of America, man, and going to the motherland. That's something. It's something that some brothers and sisters are doing now. You know what I mean? I've ran across a number of brothers and sisters who doing their thing over there. You remember Akon used to talk about that. Hey man, do what you do good over here, but go to Africa and do it. You know what I'm saying? Go there and build up, man. But I pretty much don't have no disagreement with anybody, man. Like what the prompt said, well, will it save? No, it's not gonna save us. It's not gonna free you or save us here. But it ain't gonna hurt us either, black business and working together, man, and and building our brains and building whatever. Because at the end of the day, we know one thing: the basis of power is land. You know what I'm saying? We need to have land. You have to have land where you can control resources and all. You know what I'm saying? Everything like that. That's power. That's real power. That's where the economic power come from, and every other kind of power come from having land. And like I said, I agree with what Bono was saying. Go over there, like, and work with our people over there. In Africa, on the continent. And work hand in hand with them. So it could be mutually beneficial for us and for them. You know what I'm saying? And for us as Black people as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna go too much on it, man. Because everybody pretty much has said some of the same things I was thinking, man. So great point, man. Thank you, Coco.
No, thank you for sending it to me. Yeah, Bono, go ahead.
No, yeah. To build on what Anthony was saying, I'm saying that the Black Americans have a lottery ticket. They have a golden lottery ticket. Whether people want to believe that or not, they have access to the U.S. markets of the world with that American citizenship. If they establish external relationships like globally, like every other corporation and company, like how they sell coffee in America, Folgers. You think them coffee beans are made in America? Yeah, I mean? It's like they have connections in South America, and then they manufacture the coffee beans, and then they sell it in grocery stores, Walmart, and different establishments within America. Why? They are working outside and paying the farmers, and then the person who is the face of the company, he has American citizenship, so he has the access to all of the American markets to sell to the greater American, which is trillions of dollars if you know what the hell you're doing. You know what I mean? So just as Musk, how you call him? Elon Musk. Everybody think that Elon Musk is the genius of the world. But let me tell you what Elon Musk magic is. Elon Musk is solicit Indian labor. That's how he produced the technological advancement that he's been able to do. He either imports Indian labor, or he is get Indian labor from India to produce a lot of his products. Because technologically, they are eating the Americans' lunch, but they're just very poor, or they don't have access to the American markets. Him sitting next to Trump give him that access. So what he's doing is he is what's it called it ledger what's the word I'm looking for, Coco? Ledger, when you use something to do something else. Well, anyways, he leverage. He is leveraging Indian labor. And he is just the face. That's his secret. So I'm saying that the African Americans could do the same thing. They have access to the markets of the world, and brothers like him could use African labor, because you have the largest land mass, and land wise, minerally, you could produce the wheat, and to be even competitive with the Kellogg's market, and you'll do it cheaper. And all you have to do is bring that, manufacture it, and sell the Master P cornflakes. They don't need to understand how the consumer doesn't need to understand how it's made. They don't need to understand how it's made. But Master P have an advantage, because he is an African American talking to other Africans on the continent itself. You're paying African labor, and you're still able to. I don't know. Maybe it's in my friggin' head, and that's how I see it. But that's how I understand what it is that Master P is actually saying. But the brothers say, well, Master P ain't thinking that far, and he should. I think that Master P is from Louisiana. Anthony, you need to holler at Master P. You need to have a conversation with him, brother. You need to go have a conversation with your Louisiana brother. You know what I mean? But I'll leave it.
No, good stuff. I think everything is in stages. But this is why we got to get consciousness, African-centeredness and consciousness to our people, because we can have great ideas, but if you only practicing, let's say, micro-nationalism, let's say you're in the Bahamas and you have a great idea, but you're only trying to make that idea grow in that little island nation, what will become of it, right? Like we have to get our people thinking a little further, how we can connect these dots. That is our people, Cheryl agreed with Buana, so did Lero. Kofi the Black Critic is out there saying what's up. A lot of good comments in the chat. Bakari says a lot of commercials. I'm sorry about that. Trigger asks, how would the American passport be valuable if someone is Pan-Africanist trying to divest from America? I think that's more or less about stages of what you're doing. I think there's some advantages of having access to the U.S. if you're working the advantages well, and then there's advantages to not having to deal with the U.S. ever again. Is there any last thoughts on this prompt here?
Let me just say one thing real quick, right? To make it really quick. I'm not against some the left, black people making money, right? But we have to understand the true nature of the economic system we live in, which is capitalism. And capitalism does not create wealth; it concentrates wealth. So that way, you'll have a person hoarding most of the money, and many people are without it. I am in favor of a more equitable distribution of resources. That way, it'll truly benefit the community, which is why I said that I don't believe that Black capitalism is a source of relief for us. I do agree with Black business, but I also agree that the wealth and anything that's earned from that should be distributed in a more equitable manner that everyone benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was Trigger, because he tends to mention that. I think it was Trigger who mentioned that's what Gavi really understood. Yeah, right here. He says, yep, organizations can't only become grand with wealth. I honestly believe the UNIA was successful because Gavi understood putting a grip on the business class to build power. So it's like a you build, like Black Silver said, you concentrate the wealth, but you have to redistribute it. You have to redistribute that wealth, in particular the surplus of wealth. You have to redistribute it, and he goes on to say here, basically the business class must be controlled by a political class. That's the only way you guarantee the wealth is distributed. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Let's go to shoot the read number 3 tonight.